Welcome to today's video of the Bodywork Project. I am Dr. Kylie Riley, this is Dr. Allie Ross, and we are two sisters with a purpose. And what we want to do is bring the power and wellness and healing back into the hands of you and your family members, and really give you the tools to work on each other at home and to give balance and love to one another that makes you feel good all day long, every day of the year. So today and in the future videos, we're going to be doing different topics that we can focus on that you can use for bodywork tools, massage, manual therapy, acupressure, stretching, different exercises to work on yourself, but also your partners, your siblings, your parents, your children, everyone that is included in your realm of loved ones. So today's topic is about period pain, which is, as you probably well know, very common. Probably experienced it. Most women do at some point in their lives, but it is definitely not normal, and it is not something that you have to be a victim of in your monthly life. And there are plenty of ways that you can support and calm these symptoms down during your menses, just through simple bodywork techniques and movement. So we're going to be covering that today, things that you can be doing on other people, as well as on yourself. So what is period pain? We all know the uterus contracting to get the shedding of the endometrial lining out through the blood. That is, the contractions can sometimes cause aches and pains in around the lower abdomen, as well as digestive discomfort in the colon and bladder symptoms as well sometimes for people. So I can give you more of a perspective from my lens, coming from a TCM, a traditional Chinese medicine perspective, what this kind of means when we have aches and pains during a period. It can be coming from multiple different etiologies, but at its core, painful periods relate to what we call liver qi stagnation. So in simple terms, there isn't a free-flowing energy in the body. We're getting blocked up, we're getting obstructed in the channels and meridians, and that can be causing pain. So that can be coming from stress in your life, or just overburden of doing too much, or feeling like you're not on the right path that you want to be on. All these different things can accumulate over time. And then we can also see things that will evolve from the obstruction of the qi flowing into blood stasis, or cold in the uterus is another thing we can see with period pain. So we'll talk about those two things, blood stasis being the first one. What this would look like is when you are bleeding and you're on your period, you'll be having clots that come out. You might have some sharp, fixed, stabbing pain in one particular spot of the lower abdomen that doesn't seem to go away, and that is a very good indicator that there is blood stasis. And the clots are the other bigger clue, with having relief of pain once those clots are passing. So the cold in the uterus, on the other hand, might look like similar things, but the color of the blood will change. It's going to be darker, like purple or blue. There might also still be some clots, because cold tends to go hand in hand with blood stasis, or blood stasis with cold, I should say. When there's cold in the uterus, you might also experience the symptoms of feeling chilly, like you have cold extremities and limbs on a regular basis, and that you just kind of feel heavy and filled down by that, and you have a relief with heat. So hot packs might feel really good, or sleeping in lots of blankets and covers or hot showers might feel really, really good. So those are a little bit of some minor details of what we're looking at in the grand picture of period pain. So that's not like we're going to be diagnosing or anything, but it's just something to think about when you are looking at your blood during the week of menses, and kind of what you're focusing on with bodywork might change a little bit. So that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, I think you have more to talk about because you treat people with this, right? So as a physical therapist, it's not something that I directly treat, but there are some stretches and self-myofascial releases that you can do to help mitigate the pain. And there are modalities that you can use to help prevent and decrease symptoms as well.
And that is what we're going to cover today. Branching off of that though, so not just self practices, right? Like these are going to be catered to like what we would be doing ideally in an office with a person on the table. Like these are tools that we're giving you that come from our professional practice that are really slow, keyed in, dialed in, and powerful things that you can do on one another. So these are like what we'd be doing ourselves.
Yeah, and I think with this topic as well, we get really caught up in isolating, especially during when we're on our periods. We get very isolated and we don't want to be around people, and that's okay. And so sometimes having those tools to help yourself is important, but then at the same time, having people to support you adds another level to your healing. And so I think that's why doing this, we want to show you things that, somebody else can help you with, like, so that you don't have to go out and seek it from a practitioner, but you have the tools in your home to say, hey, can you help me with this? I'm really struggling with this today. Like there's more of that heart-centered aspect.
Very good point. Yeah, the heart-centered care is everything, right? That's what we deserve to have in our family units or with our friends or our partners. And I just want to point out too that when you do seek care from someone, especially for womb, bodywork related things, make sure that that person you are asking is someone that you really trust and feel safe with. That is the number one key importance for any kind of body work, so that you can fully let go and open up and be receptive to what they're doing on you. So don't go to someone that stresses you out or makes you on edge. That's all I gotta say about that. Sweet. I want to go in a little bit deeper before we start in on our demonstrations and tutorials with the actual body work, just about the few meridians that are involved here. So there are 3 main energetic organs and meridians that are related to the uterus, to reproductive health and balance. So it's going to be the liver from a TCM perspective, the liver, the spleen, and the kidney. And so these meridians, which we will show with some images, are going to run from the feet up the inside of the legs, so the inside of the calf and the inside of the thigh, going and actually penetrating around the groin, reproductive organs, uterus, and even going up further into the chest, the flank, the ribs, and even into the throat, and even actually up into the tongue as well with some of those pathways. So think about that as it relates to if you have PMS, breast distension, pain, bloating in the abdomen, digestive issues. That's all related to these 3 organ systems, energetically where they are traveling, what they penetrate, and their functions in the body are related as well. They're very important for kind of being the source of our blood, our essence, our prenatal essence that we're born with, that kind of carries us through life, and controlling how our blood works in the body, as well as, like we talked about before, the free-flowing chi of the body, and chi and blood work hand in hand together. So we're going to be thinking about liver, spleen, and kidney meridians. We'll talk a bit more as I show you those on the demonstrations.
We're going to come in and take a look at the hip flexors. So both hands on each side, you're going to find the bone in the front here. And then you can come just inside. There are 2 hip flexors, so we're going to look at the iliacus first. So you find the bone, roll your fingers just in. You can bring the leg up. And then gently bring your fingers in until you feel some tension, or if the person tells you that it feels tight or tender. So just be gentle with the hip flexors. You don't want to dig in really hard. So you can kind of hold it here and support the knee here. I find that people are more able to relax in this position. You can also bring the knee up like this and hold here, but then sometimes they're more guarded because they're trying to help you. So I like to do it this way. You're able to gently sink your fingers into that iliacus. So the iliacus is the hip flexor that sits on the inside the pelvis, and then it comes down here. So we're working on releasing the hip flexors just to help reduce some tone in the abdomen and into the pelvic floor. Hip flexors don't directly cause the period pain, but they can become tight and irritated with menstrual symptoms. So that's the iliacus. And when you're doing this, usually just hold it like 60 to 90 seconds until the person working on you feels it release, or if you, as the woman being treated, feels it starts to relax. You can say, oh, okay, that feels better. The second one is the psoas, so that's a little bit higher. So you can find the belly button and you come just outside the belly button. And this one can be a little more tender, and you're pushing through more layers of organs. So be gentle with this one because you don't want to aggravate the uterus with this one. So to make sure that you're on the hip flexor, you just ask the person to gently bring their knee up and then relax, and you can kind of feel that muscle kick into your fingers. So I just like to kind of come in at an angle, so at a 45-degree angle, and then feel in there, and then again, just gently, don't push in real hard. Just gently press your fingers in until you feel it, and then just hold, making sure that you're breathing. And again, just wait till you start to feel it relax, or the woman who's being worked on feels it start to let go. And then when you're coming off of it, just be gentle. Don't suddenly rip your hands out of the abdomen. All right, I just showed you how to release the hip flexors on somebody else, but if you don't have somebody to help you, you can do it yourself. I like to be very gentle. There are people that put kettlebells into hip flexors. I think that's pretty intense. So I would find something, this is my rad ball, kind of like a tennis ball. I would start with a tennis ball. A lacrosse ball might be a little too much into the hip flexors, but what you're gonna do is, again, come onto your pelvis, find that bone in the front, drop just in. You can put the ball there, and then you can lay down, and then just roll on top of it. Just very gently, shouldn't be painful. And then just take some deep breaths there. Again, spending a couple minutes on each side. After you've released the hip flexor, you can stretch it. There are a couple different ways that you can stretch. So I like to do the kneeling stretch. What you're gonna do is you're stretching the one that you're kneeling on. So you're gonna kind of tuck your butt under. So you don't want your hips dumping forward. Tuck your butt under, and then gently push your hip forward until you feel a stretch kind of through here. And just breathing and hold that. Usually 30 seconds to a minute. You can do that a couple times. And then when your body relaxes, you just push in a little bit more into that stretch. Okay, now we're gonna look at releasing the glutes, the butt muscles. So we have, I'm not gonna go into the specific anatomy, but you can kind of work on all of the glutes. So you come, find the hips, and then you're just coming into the muscles along the pelvis here. And all of this is all butt muscle, okay? So don't poke around like this. I'm just kind of showing you where you want to be, but this can get really tight. So those glutes can get tight. They can cause back pain. And then you have a lot of deep hip muscles, but the piriformis muscle can cause a lot of issues as well. So those muscles are small. They cross here, and then they attach on the back side of the sacrum. So that can help with pelvic floor pain as well. So if I'm coming onto the piriformis, again, just kind of coming in gently at an angle, find where it's tight or tender, and then again, just holding it, waiting for that muscle to release. Be careful, the sciatic nerve does cross under the piriformis, so if the woman starts to say, oh, it's making my leg tingly, then just come off of it. So, and then you can also just work the glutes as well. So find where it's tight or tender, and then just hold it. Yep. And again, you know, hold each spot 60 to 90 seconds, wait for it to release, and then find another spot. The glute release. So again, you can do this on yourself with the ball. This is the rad ball. So you're gonna come just in the bulk of the muscle. You don't wanna be up too high on the pelvis where you're on the bone and you irritate the sacrum. Don't come into the low back, just stay in the bulk of the muscle meat. So you're gonna lay on your back. Find a couple different positions here. You can just have both your knees up, put the ball underneath, and then kind of roll onto it. I kind of shift my weight onto it a little bit, but this might just be enough with you here in neutral. So you kind of, I like to roll onto it, find a spot that's tight or tender. And just take some deep breaths, let it sink in. Wait till you feel that muscle relax. You can also cross a leg over and then move the ball here. So just find different spots that you put the ball in and you're able to breathe into it. If you're not able to comfortably relax, that means it's too intense. You want to be able to totally relax in the position. So after releasing the glute, you can do a couple different stretches. One right here. You can do the figure 4 stretch, so you cross that leg over. And with the same arm, you can kind of push. You know, whatever feels comfortable, there are different variations that you can do here. You can pull the knee towards you. And this same thing with the stretching with this, as with the release. If you can't breathe or if it's too intense, and your body will tighten up to protect, so you want to make sure it's very gentle and you're able to relax and breathe into it. You can also use the opposite arm, pull the knee towards the opposite shoulder and give a little bit of a glute stretch there. And then the last hip stretch, you can do the pigeon pose. It's a yoga pose. So you cross, bring that leg in front with the knee bent. And you're just kind of pushing your hip out and back. So you get a different, sometimes people will feel it in the glute. I feel it a little bit in the adductors here. I'm just breathing into that. You might get a little bit of a hip flexor stretch here. So this is a good one just for overall pelvic hip mobility. So the last one is an adductor stretch and release. So the adductors, they run all the way from below the knee up along the femur, and they attach to the pubic bone. So this can be really helpful for if you get pain that radiates into the legs or into the pelvis. It can also help relieve low back pain. So for this, and then Kylie will talk about this one more, like how this relates to the energy meridians a little bit later. So I just like to use a soft foam roller. This one is soft because it's very bendy and pliable. I don't like to use hard foam rollers unless you are very seasoned and you know how to engage with it in a healthy way. I think foam rollers are overused quite a bit. So start with a soft one. You're going to lay down kind of on your side. I take the foam roller and you're just working all of this inner thigh area. You can lay on your belly, come into the inner thigh, lay on your side, and just find a spot, again, that's tight or tender. You can just relax into it and let your leg sink. You can also add in a little movement here Maybe just bending the knee a little bit. You can kind of come up a little bit higher, closer to the groin. Same thing, just kind of breathe into that. Let it relax.
So sometimes none of those stretches are even available to you, right? You're in just really bad pain and you're just keeled over. So with that option, you can come into a child's pose and have someone press on your low back, which we're gonna demonstrate here. So Allie, if you can bring your big toes to touch and spread your knees to a comfortable position, maybe hips distance, if that's available. Sit back into your heels. Walk your upper body forward and shoulders. If you want, you can even, if your shoulders are in pain or anything, you can rest your forehead on your hands or have your arms by your side, really whatever is available to you. But this can feel really good if you just feel like you're knotted up and you can't stretch and open yet. Try this before stretches or just do this in placement of the stretches. And have your trusted person come to your low back and just apply soft pressure along the hips and the glutes. You can kind of walk your hands back and forth, but it might just feel better to do a firm hold. If you're pressing their tailbone down towards the ground ever so gently. And you can stay here, or you can do one hand on the sacrum and just walk one hand up the back. And just talk with your person as you do that work. That can feel really good and nourishing as well. So I also want to talk about something that you can be doing for the energetics of the womb pain, and that's going to be sacrum rocking. So we're working on this same area. If you're not sure where the sacrum is at, follow the spine down all the way till you hit that little cleft where the hips sort of begin. And then if you feel around, you'll have the boniness, prominent boniness following down. This is the sacrum right in here. And so that's what we're gonna be cupping in this technique, very gently, very lightly. And you can start with one hand, maybe using your dominant hand because it's a little bit more easy to move. And you can just rest your other hand on their upper back somewhere. And I want you to just start to wave your hand. So from heel of the hand to the fingers, and just creating a slight rocking from side to side of that body. And just very gentle. If someone's having current cramps and they're really hefty right now, I would avoid this technique. This is something that you can kind of be doing in the interim when they're not in pain actively. And so start with that one hand. You can kind of mimic that with the top hand on the back too. And if that feels good, you can bring both hands into line, kind of outlining the edge of the glutes here, going side to side. Or with one hand, your choice. And just rocking like you're rocking a baby to sleep. The sacrum holds so much emotional, energetic baggage, so this is a really nice way to kind of coax that person into a really good place of safety and calm. If you want to do another maneuver that's coming up, both hands on each side of the sacrum, almost like you're drawing wiping circles in towards each other with the hands, keeping the heel of your hands in contact with the glutes, with the sacrum area, and just kind of like wiping, windshield wiping in circles towards each other. Staying on the sacrum, very light touch with your hands, maybe working your way out along the glutes a little bit to the edges of the body and coming back in. A natural, slow pace. And letting the person you're working on breathe naturally and calmly here. So you can do that technique for 2 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes, 2 minutes being a little bit better if you can handle it, but that's what we have there. So for this next one, this is gonna be a static hold that you can be doing on the womb from top and from bottom. So we're gonna start with one hand slipping underneath the person. And if they have clothes on, great, or if you have a sheet they can slip under, this is really nice too, either way. But you just have them gently lift their hips up, gently for a moment, and you're gonna come with your bottom hand right to that sacrum area again. Relax down. And you're not gonna be doing anything specific with your hands, so what my hand looks like underneath, it's just resting. It's cupping the sacrum in the center of the body, right there at the start of the hips. That one's gonna rest there. And I'm gonna bring the top hand right on top of that to the lower belly. And a little side note that for safety, depending on who's working on you or who you're working on, it is kind of a really nice safety note to use the hand that's not facing, fingers facing the private part. So if you could have fingers facing away, that's why I have pinky side down, thumb up. It just feels a little bit more safe and accessible to the person. So we're not doing much here other than just holding, resting. If you're the person working, go ahead and close your eyes. And this is a great energetic hold to soothe all types of pain. But with your eyes closed, you're gonna focus on feeling a connection between your bottom and your top hand. Without trying to force anything, we're not moving. We're feeling a connection, almost like the electricity happening in that space between, like there's an orb of energy. See if you can feel it, connect with it, and breathe into it. Keeping your shoulders and your arms at rest, elbows bent, body relaxed. This one can feel very, very good the longer you hold it. So that can be held for up to 5 minutes and just keeping contact, communication with the person on the table, what they're feeling, where they're feeling it, and any relief that comes from it. For this next part, we're going to be working on those 3 meridians we talked about, the liver and the kidney and the spleen. The origins of these meridians are down on the foot, kidney being on the bottom of the foot, near the sole of the foot and the arch, the spleen coming on the inside along the big toe on the inside of the foot, kind of where the pink meets the white flesh if you're looking on the inside. And then the liver is also in contact with the big toe. It's going to be on the other side, coming along the top of the foot. So I'm going to draw a quick picture. Kidney coming along the inside, it circles around the inner malleolus, the ankle bone here, and it comes up the leg, through the inside of the knee, and up. We're going to go to this area here, but it goes into the pelvic region there. The spleen coming on the inside of the big toe, along again that inner flesh, pink and white meeting. It's going to come again through the inner ankle bone here, but it's going to be a little bit closer in along the shin bone, following the spleen channel all the way up. Anatomically, this is going to kind of follow the posterior tibialis muscle, coming again to the inside of the knee and coming up the inner thigh here. And then the liver coming up on the other side of the big toe, follows the top of the foot, again coming to the opposite side of the inner ankle bone. And this one kind of follows the actual tibia or shin bone all the way up. Again to the inside of the knee, it's going to drop in here, and it's going to come inside as well, right up in here. So what we're going to be doing is kind of dredging where there is excess in the meridians. So this is going to just be you feeling around. You are going to want to focus in primarily for period pain on, I'm going to say, the spleen channel. That's going to be your bread and butter here for making a difference. So I'm going to show this with your knee pulled out. And you can do this on your person as well if they're comfortable in this angle with their leg. And so following that spleen channel, you're going to come to the ankle bone, inside of the ankle bone, and we're going to work our way up. And I want you to feel with your thumb or your finger, whichever is most comfortable, where there are nodules, where there are tight resistant areas. Right here you have a little bit on her. And I want you to stop, hold, and apply some firm pressure. You can kind of go back and forth or circles. You doing okay? And continue up. So coming along the channel here, finding an area to stop, push, and continue on. All the way up to the knee. And after you've completed that with stopping and pressing on points that are tender or hard, you're gonna dredge it, run it, flush it, this time without stopping, all the way up to the knee. You can use 2 fingers or your whole hand for this one. All the way up to the knee. Following the channels up this time. So these 3 leg yin are all on the yin side, inside of the thigh. We're not gonna hone in on one particular meridian at this time. What can be most beneficial for this broader area of the inner thigh is to use your forearm. So what we're gonna be doing here, this is her left leg. We have the knee pulled out, comfortable position, propped with a pillow underneath. And I'm gonna be using my left arm on this point. So having either clothes on the person, or if they have shorts on, you can be using some oil or lotion. But I want you to start on the inner thigh adductor muscles, and you're gonna just feel first a good part to let your forearm sink in. Letting the wrist of the arm that's engaged relax. And let your other hand just kind of rest on or near the thigh. And you're gonna let your body sink in. And we're not using the elbow here, the pointy part, we're using that broad forearm muscle area. It feels a lot more inviting and safe to the person being worked on. And we're just gonna work our way up. Pausing in any sticky areas to take a breath. And invite the person you're working on to take a breath. And then coming to a slow stop as you ease out, nearing the pelvic region. You can also use your fingers if you have fingers stacked, if your person is able to handle it, if it's not too much pressure. You can also sink in this way, finding where there are tight spots that feel like rock hard or tense in the adductors here on this inner thigh. And you can stack your fingers and sink in the same way. Not applying firm, direct downward pressure at the table, but almost like 45 degrees of pressure where it's down but near the person, or down but approaching the person. And hold, just sit here in tight spots, breathing together until your fingers start to glide off that spot. And taking your time. Few minutes on the thigh can be really powerful. What we were talking about, Ali was mentioning before, with all the pelvic floor muscles from the glutes, from the hip flexors, the inner thigh, anatomically, the adductors are really important too for any kind of pain ongoing in and around the womb. So this can be very powerful for helping relieve kind of the secondary pain, muscular pain associated with your period. Again, stopping a nice place away from the groin just to keep things safe. And once you're done, very softly and smoothly rub it out with your hands and palms to bring the energy and flow back. And maybe shake the leg out a little bit, rock and roll it. This next part is really powerful for someone who is actively cramping insanely, and they don't want anyone near or around their belly, their back, their legs, etc. What we can do is look for what's called microsystems of the body. These are places away from sites that mirror each other. And so we all have heard about reflexology as being one thing. That's a microsystem of the body. We also have it in our hands, our ears, our tongue, our face. Broken down to all different categories. But we're gonna focus on the foot and the hand here as ways that we can influence the pelvic region. So you don't have to get very specific with this, but I want you to think about the heel. The heel, up above the heel, around the heel of the foot is all about the pelvis. So you can get in here if someone's actively in really bad pain, warm your hands, warm their feet, and get into the heel and just apply some pressure. Find where there are tender points for them. The center of the heel with a thumb point can be very good, just to hold. The sides of the heel, just pinching, can be very good. You can come up above the heel into the arch, again, holding. And just tune in with your person. Ask where's their pain, where's their tenderness in the foot. And once you find a good spot, press into it, do some circles, and apply that firm pressure for a couple of minutes, so around 2 minutes, and ask them, check in throughout what changes within their pelvic region. Okay, so that is a good option for the foot. If you don't have a foot, or if they prefer a hand, same idea here. You can look at my hand. Heel of the foot mirrors heel of the hand. So all of this area around the heel of the hand, you can work, you can start massaging. If you find any lumps, nodules, tight points, get your thumb in there, hold, have the person breathe. Other side, hold, have the person breathe. And it's gonna be the same rule that applies, doing circles on tender points or holding firm pressure, and then kind of smoothing it out at the end, a couple of minutes. And that should be really beneficial for the pain in real time. They should notice improvements like right away. So this last exercise is for you to do on yourself. And this is a simple meditation breathing exercise that brings circulation, warmth, and awareness to your womb. And this is a simple meditation that comes from qigong, that we're focused on the dantian, which is the lower dantian being a point around the womb. That is, if you find it, 1 hand breadth on your own self below your belly button. This is where the lower dantian resides, and what that is translates to the field of elixir, and it's deep within the abdomen, kind of between the kidneys, where we hold this reservoir of energy in our bodies. And so we can use this energy reservoir with our hands stacked over it to bring awareness and awaken it, the power of it. And we can also use it to settle and calm our energy too. And its physical location being near and around the womb is very powerful for relieving pain and calming down symptoms during your menstruation. So we're gonna bring stacked hands above the lower dantian, and there are mixed messages about what hand goes where, but basically having your left hand, left being the yin, right being the yang. You can look up details about that if you want. We're not going to go into specifics here. But I would like to invite you to try out left hand yin down on contact with your belly with right hand stacked on top. This will tonify yin and bring more awareness to the yin aspects of the body. So we'll stand here, hands hovering over the lower dantian, and you're going to have feet hips distance apart, toes spread, coming into a natural standing position with knees slightly bent, firm grounding, kidneys, points into the earth. And then you're gonna close your eyes. And you're gonna breathe into your hands where they are, sending that energy deep into the abdomen where the dantian resides. You'll stand here focused on this connection between your breath, hands, and womb for 10 minutes. And if it's too much to stand, you can lay down and do the same thing, hands stacked over this location. 10 minutes of breathing, connection, and awareness. And see how that helps. So, along with these techniques, I want to give a little tidbit about lifestyle, what you can be doing for yourself, or you can let others know to be doing on the look at their period. And that's going to be looking like foods. We really want to have warming and tonifying foods in our diet during this time. This is the most depleting time of a woman's cycle, and so there can be quick deficiencies that happen, looking like fatigue and just kind of overall unwellness during this time. So warming foods keep the qi and blood flowing properly, and tonifying foods. What this can look like is number one being red meats, grass-fed, grass-finished beef. You can even do some lamb depending on the time of year it is. That can be really good for the winter months because it's a very hot meat. Foods such as red fruits, so think pomegranates, beets, things like that, goji berries, and even jujubes. Getting your hands on any kind of red colored foods. Think of that replenishing the blood because it's the same color. That can be a key hint. And then also leafy greens or cooked green vegetables. Really make sure that you're eating cooked foods this week during the menses. That's very important so we don't get any kind of cold that we talked about, stagnation in our digestive tract that can contribute to more cold in the uterus. So yeah, looking like dandelion greens or cooked broccoli and Brussels sprouts, which, side note, cruciferous vegetables are also really good at eliminating extra estrogen in the body and keeping the liver flowing properly from a biomedical perspective. So Brussels sprouts and broccoli, I definitely highly recommend at this time. And then cooking with things such as ginger. Ginger heals all, in my opinion, and in most to everyone's opinion that comes from my background. Fresh ginger into water to make a tea, cooking with ginger as much as possible, sauteing, just eating it whenever you can. It doesn't have to be during this week, but ginger is phenomenal all month long. And another good one that can be beneficial for pain specifically is turmeric. If you handle turmeric well, it's a very good blood invigorator, so getting the blood stasis moving, and it's very warming as well. So turmeric, if you like it, if you can handle it, cooking with that during this week of menses as well. And then root vegetables. They come from the earth. They tonify the earth element, which goes down to the spleen and the stomach. So think sweet potatoes. Purple sweet potatoes are at the top of the tier, muy bueno. You can also do regular sweet potatoes, yams, getting back to like beets, turnips, parsnips, those kind of things. And any kind of slightly sweet foods are going to be tonifying and pain relieving actually. So do not demonize the sweets. There's a reason we crave them. If we might have some deficiencies, we might have other issues, but sweet food, slightly sweet food, can be very beneficial for pain relief as well. So this can look like a little maple syrup, which is very warming and tonifying, or some honey into your teas or your lattes, whatever you drink. Sweet fruits. The root vegetables are classified as sweetness as well, even though it's not technically sugary. And if you have access to licorice, that can be very helpful as well, drinking some licorice tea. So just wanted to add that in, food for thought, literally. Yeah.
So I also wanted to touch briefly on using some modalities that can help you. Don't, like Heidi said, don't try to throw everything at yourself at once. Pick one, maybe two things that you want to try. And I talk about this in my blog post, Painful Period Remedies. I have a few different modalities in there. So one of them is using an infrared light. So using the infrared light can be very warming and pain relieving as well. There's different bulbs out there. So I have one here. I'll show you an example. This is the sauna space bulb. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was just admiring. It's nice.
So this is the sauna space bulb. And you can have different panels as well, but just putting it away from your abdomen so that you don't want it to burn your skin. You don't want to put it directly on your skin. This is a hot water bottle. You can fill it up with hot water, and this is kind of a small one, but you can just put it on your abdomen and hold it for a while. And that can help with pain as well. And then got some magnesium here, so just doing a magnesium soak. 1 or 2 cups into a bath, into a warm bath, can be helpful. The magnesium helps relieve cramps as well.
Yeah, the soaking, if you don't like baths or you don't have time for a full body bath, another great thing you can be doing is a hot water foot soak. So just a tub, a bowl that you can put your feet in, make it really hot. You can add some of the magnesium salts, Epsom salts, and back to the ginger, throw it in there. By gosh, why not? That's a really great place to have warmth, heat, and herbs, and all sorts of good chemicals enter the body through the bottoms of the feet where the kidney meridian begins, the root of our bodies, the root of our essence chi to the earth, and it absorbs up through the feet into the entire system as well. So that is also a great alternative. I also want to add too that during this time, we talked about the warmth and the tonification. Very important to keep your abdomen covered if you can, so try to avoid crop tops and wear things that cover all the way down, as well as keeping cozy socks on your feet. Right back to the same thing, the kidney meridian being that place of source. You want to keep that warm and cozy so that nothing gets coagulated and cold again. So that is my second add-in. And thirdly is to use this week as thinking of downward pulling energy. I know a lot of times we think of uplifting, we want to uplift ourselves, but respect this time as there being a shedding, a downward pull, and really honor that. So you want to avoid inversions. If you do yoga, if you do fun acrobatic stuff, any kind of like handstands, try to avoid anything like that, headstands, even just relaxing with your legs up the wall and elevation in general. Just think about neutral positions during this time. If you can lay flat, that's fine, but it would be best to keep yourself in propped up positions where you have gravity on your side helping pull the blood down. So just want to add that in as well. Downward flow is key during this time.
And additionally, regards to movement, just doing lighter exercise, not really pushing for high intensity or personal records in this week. Just again, respecting that, the downshift, the shedding, and allowing yourself to be more in touch and in tune with your body. So thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you guys. Be well and body be well.